The turtle ship. Imagine showing up to a naval battle and seeing a warship covered in spikes. It sounds like something from a fantasy movie, but it was real. The turtle ship was built in Korea during the 1500s and became one of the most feared warships of its time. Its armored roof protected sailors from enemy attacks, while spikes discouraged enemy soldiers from boarding. Combined with powerful cannons and a dragon-shaped bow, it looked unlike anything else on the water. It remains one of history's most unusual warships. The circular ship. Most ships are long and narrow for a reason. This one completely ignored that idea. In the 1870s, Russia built a strange warship called the Novgorod. Instead of looking like a normal ship, it was almost perfectly circular. Engineers hoped the design would provide a stable platform for heavy guns. Unfortunately, the ship handled poorly and became famous for its unusual appearance. Even today, it remains one of the weirdest naval experiments ever launched, the sea monster. This vehicle was so large that people thought it was a ship, but it was actually designed to fly. The Lune-class ekranoplan was built by the Soviet Union and skimmed just above the surface of the water using ground effect. From a distance, it looked like a giant boat with airplane wings. Armed with missiles and capable of incredible speed, it blurred the line between ship and aircraft. Few vehicles have ever looked more futuristic. The invisible ship. If a ship looks like a giant floating pyramid, there is probably a reason. The Sea Shadow was an experimental stealth ship developed by the United States. Its strange angular design was created to reduce radar reflections and make the vessel difficult to detect. To most people, it looked less like a ship and more like something from a science fiction movie. Despite its unusual appearance, the project helped shape future stealth technology. The Giant. Imagine a ship so enormous that people doubted it could even float. That was the Great Eastern. Built in the 1850s, it was by far the largest ship in the world. It was designed to carry thousands of passengers across oceans without refueling. Although it struggled commercially, its massive size shocked engineers and the public alike. For decades, nothing else came close. The flying boat. What happens when engineers cannot decide between a boat and an airplane? You get a flying boat. The Hughes H-4 Hercules, better known as the Spruce Goose, looked like a giant boat with enormous wings attached. Built during World War II, it was intended to transport troops and cargo across the Atlantic. Despite its legendary status, it flew only once. Even so, it remains one of the largest aircraft ever built. The Ice Crusher. Most ships try to avoid thick ice. This one was built to smash straight through it. Icebreakers use reinforced hulls and enormous weight to crack frozen seas open. Some modern icebreakers can push through ice several meters thick, allowing other ships to follow behind. Watching one in action looks less like sailing and more like controlled destruction. The Floating Airport. Imagine a ship so large that fighter jets can take off and land on it. Aircraft carriers are essentially floating air bases. Some are longer than skyscrapers are tall and carry dozens of aircraft across the world's oceans. They combine the functions of a warship, an airport, and a military base into a single vessel. Few machines demonstrate human engineering ambition better. The ship that walked on water. Not every strange boat sailed traditionally. Hydrofoils use underwater wings to lift the hull above the water as speed increases. Once airborne above the waves, drag drops dramatically, and the vessel can travel much faster. The result is a boat that appears to glide across the surface. It looks almost magical, but the science behind it is surprisingly simple. Ships are often portrayed as ordinary machines, but some of the strangest vehicles ever built have sailed the oceans. From circular warships and stealth pyramids to flying boats and sea monsters, these vessels prove that naval engineers have never been afraid to experiment with bizarre ideas.